I'm Pete from Florida Cannabis Coalition and Common Bond Collaborative. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you a little bit about Amendment 2 and what has happened with the failure of that amendment to pass. The first thing is, I know a lot of you are hurting. I'm hurting too. This has been quite a blow. Over the past year or so, I've met countless people who are suffering from debilitating conditions, including children, that could have been helped by this amendment immensely. And to see them continue to suffer is one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with in my entire career. So it's very disheartening to see what has happened. I'm sad, and I'm a little bit ashamed for Florida. But that being said, I want to focus a little bit on some positives of what happened yesterday. And while in Florida here we've been focused on Amendment 2, there was some major progress made around the country yesterday for the cannabis movement. First thing is, here in Florida, even though we lost the vote, we still got 58% of Floridians to vote in favor of Amendment 2. That's a huge majority. And even though it didn't reach the 60% threshold, it sends a signal to everyone that even in Florida, one of the most tumultuous political states, 58% of people can agree on this. That's a big, 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 big impact that will have on the rest of the nation. Next thing is Oregon, Alaska, and the nation's capital have all legalized cannabis for adult use. That brings the total number of states to 4. Colorado, Washington, Alaska, and Oregon have all legalized cannabis for adult use. That means you don't even need a medicinal card. In California, medicinal marijuana has been legal for over 20 years. The entire western seaboard of the United States and all of North America, if you include Canada, which has had legal medical cannabis for quite some time now, is now cannabis friendly. The entire western seaboard. There's no stopping this movement. Legal cannabis is available in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. There's no slowing this down. This all happened in a year when Republicans, who are traditionally anti-cannabis, pro-prohibition, swept elections across this country. So if this can happen in an election year, when Republicans and conservatives are the ones coming out to the polls, I can only imagine what could happen in an election year when there's more support to repeal prohibition and legalize cannabis for good. Now, a couple of other things that should be some food for thought. Think about what Amendment 2 would look like under a Rick Scott and Pam Bondi administration. They both won last night too. So if we look at it in that context, we may have just saved ourselves a lot of headaches and a lot of red tape by not passing this amendment now. But when there is a legislature in there that will actually put forth some good regulations and not put up more barriers to entry. Another thing is that this kind of heartbreak is the kind of thing that brings people together. And when we're together and we're united, we're stronger. We've already seen many people reach out to us, and we're all meeting together to try and put our heads together and come up with a single voice to take to Washington, to take to Tallahassee, to keep this movement going. The majority of America agrees with us. The majority of the people in this country, over 54%, support full adult use legalization of cannabis. Should I say that again? The majority of people in this country support legalizing cannabis for adult use. To me, that in a democracy, that means that it should be legal. We'll get there. I have no doubt. When it comes to the business of cannabis, it's not going anywhere. It's a $14 billion business today, and recreational use is going to account for about $4 billion of that in 2018. By 2018, we'll have at least 4 or 5 more states legalizing adult use cannabis. This is a market that can be served from here in Florida. So the cannabis industry is growing faster than ever. Common Bond Collaborative, we're actually helping companies. We're helping companies in Florida to be part of this market. So for instance, a software company could be based here and serve markets in Oregon and Alaska. Companies that make cannabis-friendly products, such as storage containers and things of that nature, could easily produce products here and distribute them in legal states. In addition to that, there are companies that operate in other states that are looking for resources that we can provide from right here in Tampa. The reason a lot of companies use Tampa as a place as a home base for their services, for their businesses, because this is the fourth lowest cost of doing business in the country. This is a big industry, and Florida is going to be a big part of it, despite what happened with Amendment 2 yesterday. So while it's a tough defeat, it's a tough loss, I want everybody to keep their heads up, because this isn't over, it's only the beginning. We're not going anywhere but forward, and we'd love to have you with us. Thanks.